James Smallwood is the national treasurer for the Fraternal Order of Police. James, very good of you to join us. This is just yet another reminder, this incident in Texas, of what your men and women have to deal with.
Yeah, good morning, Neil, and thank you for having us on. This is certainly an opportunity for us to recognize the sacrifices that law enforcement officers are ready to make on any given day to make sure that our communities stay stronger and stay safer. And certainly what we witnessed happen last night with the officers in Houston it's tragic, it's horrible, but it should be a message to all of America that law enforcement stands strong, ready to survive, ready to protect their communities, and they're willing to make the ultimate sacrifice in that endeavor.
Do you ever feel, James, that does Washington back you and support you? I mean, ever since the George Floyd incident and all the uprisings since then, there's this feeling that police aren't given their due respect, that they've all been painted by the same brush. How do you feel about that? Or does it affect you?
You know, there's certainly challenges that we face, but the reality is this is all about the dedication and commitment of our brave men and women in law enforcement. They are the heroes of the day. And the folks that are going to be sitting in these white chairs on the Capitol lawn, they are the survivors of our heroes. And that's what we're here to recognize. We're here to give them some semblance of comfort in their loss and make sure that we never forget the folks that have done the ultimate sacrifice in our endeavor for more stronger and safer communities.
You know, James, I don't have the exact numbers on it, but I do know is that the trend has been, for these ambush attacks where police are targeted simply because of their uniforms. In other words, it's not an accident. That these are, plotted and pre-planned attacks.
Yeah, there's certainly a trend where law enforcement officers are being attacked and ambushed more often, and we're seeing that rise across the country, and that's certainly a concern for all of us. It's a concern for our families as they send their loved ones off to work to make sure that they're protecting their communities, and it's time for that to stop. It's time for people to stand up and say that attacking law enforcement is unacceptable. We're here to build positive relationships and have strong conversations with our community so that we can continue to build strong and safe communities. But attacks on law enforcement are a struggle. They're certainly through the roof right now, and it is a concern of ours, no doubt.
What do you want to hear from President Biden or your men and women?
You know, I couldn't speak for President Biden, but we would love to see him come out and support law enforcement, and we're just honored to have him come out here and recognize the men and women of law enforcement and the survivors who are here who have lost their loved ones in their work.
So when you see incidents that go on in various cities, whether it's Seattle, where they were cutting police funding and then reverse that, or in Chicago right now where they're fighting over, vaccine mandates that might have the available police force this weekend there, what do you think of all of that?
You know, there's no question the Defund the Police movement is a dangerous and reckless trend, and we're seeing cities all across the country take that trend, and they're seeing how dangerous and reckless it is for their city. It's bringing more crime, more violent crime into their cities when we're cutting law enforcement out of the picture, and certainly it's time to stand up, support law enforcement, because we stand ready to support our communities.
Well, you're always there, James, so thank you to you and your men and women. James Smallwood, again, this event with President Biden takes place a little after noon today in Washington, a memorial that few people know anything about, but it is there. You should visit.